So I've got the rock lights all finished. I got the magnetic setups on. Like we're gonna put the magnetic on the frame itself.
Yeah.
So we got 8 total. Chris, you've installed rock lights before?
No.
On your truck? You took it to somebody.
I took it somewhere.
Yeah. But we're gonna take it. We're gonna take it to Chris's auto shop. The one with the lift.
Are we?
I mean, I can imagine it being too hard, but yeah, I was.
Where are these going?
So 4 will go under the fender. 4 will go on the frame.
Oh, okay.
Where do these go?
On a
Yeah,
truck.
because I had no idea what they were for. I was like, these are cool.
Yeah.
I missed
remember
the
that.
whole part. I missed
Like
that whole-
underneath the fender.
Do you know-
wells?
I missed the whole beginning.
Remember
of the
Chris had his
conversation.
on his truck? The
Yeah,
rock
yeah,
lights?
yeah. I just missed the whole beginning of that conversation.
You're
So
just-
I didn't know
You're
what
just like
he was
out there in left field. Where are these going?
Yeah, where are these going?
Like, keep up.
What we're gonna do is go over one, probably like next Saturday. We're gonna go over to his house and install those rock lights on my truck.
Okay.
You're gonna come over on a weekend.
Oh yeah.
Well, weekends probably, because. So right now I'm putting together, like we got these magnetic mounts. This is what's gonna go onto the frame of the truck. So we're gonna put these behind the lights. That way it sticks to the frame. We're not gonna be putting any, I don't wanna put any screws in the frame. So we're gonna use these magnetic mounts. They're pretty powerful. So I'm making sure they're staying separated from the rest of the magnets because they're very strong. So basically we're putting all these bolts in here. I gotta go one by one and put them together. So at night my truck could be very dark and a lot of people don't see it at night whenever I'm switching lanes or I'm just going down the road because I drive down very dark roads here. This will definitely be a benefactor. That way it makes the truck kind of like stand out and you can see it. Sort of like how a motorcycle is, it's kind of hard to see them at night. Same thing with my truck. It doesn't really stand out with a dark color, so I think this would be beneficial. And also, I've always liked neon underneath vehicles. I thought they've always looked cool. I think it'd be a cool addition to the truck. So this is like a full-blown light kit. This isn't one that you just cut and splice. Like it comes with the harness. It comes with the fuse, the harness, the switch. The only thing I had to order was extra wiring for the rear. I know I'm gonna have to extra wire with the distance. Other than that, also I went to Ace Hardware and picked up a few bolts. We can mount them to the magnetic mounts and make life much easier once we install them. The kit comes with self-tappers, but I'm not gonna use self-tappers. We're gonna use a bolt and a nut, and we're basically gonna just mount them to the fender lines. So once I put all of these bolts into these lights and get them all set up, I'm gonna wrap them back up. I'll basically lay out the wires and where the lights are gonna go, and then we're gonna turn them on before I mount them. That way we're not going to be mounting everything and then all of a sudden we have a malfunction with the lights or have a malfunction with the wire. So take some time, put all the bolts together, and check back soon with y'all. So after hours and hours of researching what rock lights to buy, I was kind of torn between like about 4 different ones. I know KC makes a kit which is very, very expensive. I think it's 6 lights and it's $250 an average. I think an average one on Amazon was about like less than $100. I think it was about 60, $80. I knew with KC lights it'd be a good brand. I know they have good reputation of making lights, but at the same time I go with the reviews. Like 4.5 stars is fine with me on Amazon. And with Amazon you can return it too if you don't like it. But I think with this kit, it'll be a good kit to put on the truck, and I think it's gonna look nice at the end of the day. So we're up early, about to get these rock lights started. Got about 8 of these to install. This is what they look like. These have a magnetic mount. I'm gonna mount these to the frame of the vehicle. Just make it easier on me. I don't have to drill any holes or do any special work with it. I've done installs with subwoofers and lights, so the wiring is not the issue. It's me really trying to figure out this truck and figuring out where I'm gonna feed my lines. I've never done any aftermarket installs on this truck. I've kind of kept the stock for the last couple of years because I don't want to really mess into the wiring or messing in with the audio because I want this truck to last a long time. But with this kit, it's very simplistic, and I think that it's gonna be a good add-on to the vehicle and really make the truck really stand out with the lights and just how the truck is. I really want to put these lights as a safety precaution because at night this truck is very hard to see with this dark blue. A lot of people just tend to kind of forget I'm in their blind spot. So with these lights, I think we're going to improve the visibility of the truck. We're going to improve the style of it as well. I think these are going to look really cool. We're going to get started on these soon. I'm hoping this will be about 2 or 3 hours worth of work. I don't want it to be an all-day thing, but we're going to get started. So you're going to come along with me. We're going to get the truck taken apart. We're going to run the wires. I'm going to first run the wires, make sure everything lines up properly, and I'm going to turn it on, make sure it works properly before I mount anything. Really don't want to mount anything and then just leave it and then I go to hook it up and it doesn't work. We're gonna run all the lines through, make sure everything's properly hooked up. This is the only one that I found that's actually decent. I'll leave a link in the description. That way you guys can pick these rock lights. Chris and Carlos will come over later. We'll catch up with them and let's get started. Okay, so I started from the rear, pulled out the fender a little bit, nothing too spectacular. It's kind of tough to pull this whole fender line out. Then I ran a line down here. I'll show you some more shots later on. Right now I'm just making sure the wires are running properly through the truck and make sure the lights turn on properly. We turned the lights on, so these lights were running pretty well. These lights turned on, everything was running properly. All the lights were properly turned on, so I got one there. There's one on each door, so there's one directly under this. I'll show you another shot later. There's one under this door. There's gonna be one under here as well. What are you doing over there?
It's over. Trying to get this grommet out. I don't know, man.
What's gonna be the taxes on 2 mil?
Anyway, so here's another one down here. So now we're gonna mount them. Everything's hooked up. We're gonna mount them, tuck all the wires in, and go from there. Okay, I'll start from the battery. So basically I took the red wire, took this out. So basically I took out this red wire here, took the terminal off, put it to here, ran the wire through, out to there. Once I ran it there, the fuse is behind this actually. The fuse is right there, behind the brace. You wanna take this brace out because this brace is gonna be in the way of everything. It's definitely a big help taking that brace out. As you see, I run the line. The passenger side lights are there, runs up through. I took the zip tie, ran it through here. I don't really care for the wires. I mean, I don't really care for the color of the zip ties as long as they were doing their job. So I run it up and it goes to this big nest right here. So I'm gonna be getting some big zip ties. I'm gonna actually wrap these all together better because right now they're kind of free floating around in the truck. I don't want these to be, you know, going everywhere. So we're gonna get some zip ties, zip that up. I also screwed this relay to the firewall, so it's not gonna go anywhere. So I have it there, and then I ran the switch through that little hole here. So if you have a Silverado, you'll have a hole about right here. You can run that through the firewall. So if you see in there, you see that hole. So in the Silverado, when you open the door, you'll see this little opening where the fender goes through. You'll feed that line through, it goes down, it goes through a little grommet there. So you take the grommet out, drill a hole, run it through the grommet, define your line going through, and then go from there, pretty much. Okay, so we'll start from the rear. So I basically took the light, kind of shined it at an angle. That way it goes inside the fender line. It's not going pointing straight down at the tire. This was probably by far the hardest because I didn't take the whole fender line off. I just kind of popped it down a little bit, drill the holes, and attach the light. So pretty sturdy there. You run the line. And also, like, when I drilled the hole for the cord, I just made an X and just put it through. That way you're not drilling a giant hole in your fender line and you gotta fill it. Go down here so I can show you the rear. So this is the rear light, one of the lights I put on the frame. So this is the light attached to the body of the truck. As you can tell, it's pretty sturdy, going anywhere. I'm not really the strongest guy in the world, but I got a pretty good grip, and I could tell it's not gonna go anywhere. So we ran the line pretty much down side of the frame going to the front of the truck. So now the front I attached right there pretty much. This one's the easiest one because the whole liner is pretty much out the truck. That one was pretty simple as well. So the install took a little longer than what I anticipated it to be. Instead of it being about 2 or 3 hours, it took about over 5. What really slowed me down was the rear fenders, putting the lights up. I didn't take the fender completely down, so it's kind of just nudging it, and the top of it's a nut and the bottom's a screwdriver, so I'm having both hands while Carl was holding the fender down while I was tightening it up with the screwdriver and the drill. So that was really slowing me down on both sides. But once I got that done, the front wasn't so bad because it was obviously taken apart. The front was taken off and I put it on the bench, and I just did the work there instead of crawling under there and doing it like the rear. But the 2 frame rails were pretty simple. They're just magnetic mounts. What took me a long time was actually running the switch through the firewall into the interior of the truck. We didn't really know where we were going to go with the cord, and we didn't want to drill a new hole or interfere with any grommets that are in the truck already. So, but all in all, I think it was worth it for me. I take pride in my work. It took a lot more time than what I anticipated, but instead of paying someone over $500 to put them in, I kind of did it myself. And I know a little bit more about my truck and like what bolts go where and how easily things come apart. Whenever I do that, I get more comfortable with the truck of doing installations and doing customizations. I didn't really do a lot of customizations with this truck because it was my daily and I don't want to ruin it. And it's got over 140,000 miles on it, so I kind of like to maintain it and kind of keep it going. That way there's no problems. Also, some key notes: I did buy an extender for the lights for the rear, but the connectors weren't the right size, so I couldn't use them. So if it was about a foot longer, I think it would have worked perfectly, but it is what it is. I made it work, and I really like how the lights turned out. I got to go back and fix the switch, then I'll drive the truck for a few days, and then I'll go back and inspect everything. So if you guys own like a 2014 to 2018 Chevy Silverado, this would be a great example of how to do the installs. For this install for a Chevy Silverado, you're going to need a star bit. I think it's like a T10. You'll need a 10mm socket. You'll need to take apart the battery brace. That way you can maneuver around it. There's like a cross brace on the Silverados. You're going to take that apart. You're going to take the inner fender liners off. And the two front inner fender liners aren't so bad to take apart. There's like at least 15-20 star bolts holding that fender together. But once you do undo everything, you could just pull it apart. I will advise you, if you have an off-road truck, or if you've been off-roading, just be advised with the rear when you pull it apart. I I had like a sandstorm pretty much come in my face when I took it apart. So just be aware of the amount of dust you have under there, because everything gets, over the years of going on dirt roads, it just picks up all that dirt. Just be aware of the rear dust under the fender liner itself. For the frames, I bought some magnetic mounts from Amazon. I'll leave the link in the description for the magnetic mounts. What else did I need? You need another helper. You can't do this yourself. You're gonna need someone to at least hold the fender and hold the bolts and the lights. That way you can make things much easier. If you have a lift, it's even easier too. We were gonna go to Chris's house and use his lift, but it was just too much effort of taking all the tools, taking everything to his house and then not even finishing. It's good to have people around you to help you and also like just hang out with you too. It kind of felt like old times having Chris and Carlos here. Like when we were younger, we'd have nothing to do. We just go to each other's house and hang out, and somebody's working on something, so we'll usually help. Or we just like the company and the camaraderie of everybody getting together and doing fun projects automotively, whether it's our dirt bikes or it's our trucks, or I think in the future when we have our houses, we'll probably work on that too. But so what I recommend you to do is at home, it's two factors. Do you have the time and do you have the patience and the skill to do it? It's not really a skill. You can learn how to do it. It's pretty simple, but you have to have the patience and learning where everything goes and where the wire goes, because you don't want any wire getting obstructed by any of the functionality of the truck, whether it's the motor, the suspension, anything of that nature. You don't want it getting interfering. You don't want that interfering with it, making it a safety hazard. So for me, I would tell somebody, do the research. Make sure there's good reviews on the lights. See if there's any YouTube videos on installs. I know people do a lot of installs and they just Frankenstein it, or they just wire it and do all kinds of weird things. Like I don't know. I've seen some weird things on YouTube. I've seen some strange stuff on YouTube that I don't understand. But this kit is a whole harness, and I'm gonna leave a link in the description. That way you guys know which lights to get. I would recommend them. It comes with an app. You could adjust the brightness. You could adjust the color. You could pick a picture from your phone and choose the color from that picture, which is pretty cool. You could choose audio as well, and you could run you could run your whatever songs you have on your phone. You could run that on the lights, and it kind of like strobes with it. I don't really need that. I just like to have the white color or the different. I know I won't be running red or blue because that's like a ticket waiting to happen, or there's no point of leaving the lights on red or blue. So now we got all the rock lights installed. We've got everything put back together. We ran the truck for about a week. We checked all the lines. Everything was okay. I'm still in the look for a extender for my lights. I still gotta find an extender that works. I don't know. I can't find anything on Amazon. So after doing some finishing touches on the truck, we ran some new line for the button. So the switch was close to the parking brake, which I didn't like because it required two hands to, hold it and turn the lights on. So I ran the line behind the column and it went up to the side of my console. It was kind of hidden under the panels, kind of stealth look the way I went with the switch. That way it's kind of easier to get to it. It's not going to be, you're not, going under the car while you're driving. It's very unsafe. But all in all, the rock lights look nice. We finally did like a nighttime shoot with it. I wanted to show you guys really how the rock lights look at night, but with the video and lighting, it's very tough. But I did my best to show you guys like how everything went together. All in all, I think it was I'd say it was a big learning curve, learning how to put the lights in and taking my truck apart and running the lines. But all in all, I think it was fun doing it. But I appreciate you guys. So if you stuck around for this long, leave a like. It goes a long way with the channel. Be sure to subscribe. We'll have more content coming soon. So thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys have a good day.